We are the Liberty Intelligence Organization Network.
And I'm going to be your host here for the News Recap Show. You can call me the Captain. And if you've been following us here for Broadcast 3, I usually, I've mentioned I'm not going to do conclusions anymore for the broadcast because it usually doesn't get much viewership because it's just a repeat or a broader analysis of the information that's been espoused in earlier segments. But I ended the last segment there talking about the environmental movement on such like a quick ending that I felt I should just do a real brief conclusion that goes over what was talked about. We talked about really the media propaganda being used by the New World Order to make us accustomed or to get us normalized to this world of slavery that they want to create. A world where they're in control and everyone else has no power. You're all helpless. Everyone's weak. You do what you're told. That's really, it's all about manipulating propaganda. Excuse me, folks. Propaganda is all about manipulating our perception of the earth. The way we see the world around us is what they want to control. And I mentioned in one of the special reports about RFID chips, these microchips that they want to implant in people. Well, like I've mentioned, I think what it's going to be people who willingly take the chips are going to get the chips implanted here. And this is in Obamacare. Go check it out. It's in Obamacare. All American citizens will have RFID chips. Go look into it. There's also a lot of disinformation calling it a hoax, but go read it. You can go check the document out for yourself, find out the truth. But as I mentioned before, I think the people who willingly accept the chips are going to get it in their hand. People who refuse to accept it are going to get it in the back of the neck. And at the same time in doing that, it'll be able to manipulate the brain stem and ultimately mimic or determine how you view reality by controlling electronic pulses through the brain. And if you think that sounds crazy, folks, go look at the scientific, the world has grown, back 30 years ago, if you would have said that there's going to be a computer system that allows everyone to connect to this massive global information bank called the Internet, people would have said, you are crazy. You are crazy. There will never be something like that. There will never be able to have, back in the 70s when you had a cell phone, it was like this big frickin' thing you had to carry around. If they just said in the future, everyone's going to have small handheld cell phones that are also going to be cameras and GPS devices and be able to connect to this thing called the Internet. People would have said, first of all, the Internet's crazy. I can't believe you're talking about the Internet. They would have said, cell phones will never be that small. People will never be able to do that. And to put a camera in a cell phone, where are you going to put the film? Come on, you're crazy. Again, that's the way it works, folks. You have to understand technology advances. Your mind may be stuck in the technology of the world you were born into, but the technology is continuously advancing. And just think about what we don't know about. They have tons of technology that is kept hidden and secret from us. They want the New World Order, the corporate, banking, mogul, media, political elites. They use the technology to control us in various formats, whether it be creating propaganda through reality manipulation, false realities, and getting you to buy into that, whether it be through tracking devices and listening devices in your appliances, in your phones. It's a number of things, but the technology is advancing very quickly, folks, and they do have the ability to do these things I say. The brain implant with a chip that could determine the electromagnetic pulses that go through your brain. But again, a zombie who doesn't even understand that the brain works through electromagnetic pulses, through electrical signals that are connected through synapses through your brain, the average human being, the average zombie, isn't going to be aware of that because they're not interested in information. They're interested in the next big sporting event, the next big reality TV show thing, the next episode of Walking Dead. They don't care about this massive inflow of information that is truth about their world. They're more concerned with the propaganda that is on TV. They're more concerned with being dumb and ignorant, with being blinded, whether they know it or not. And a lot of people don't even realize how ignorant they are because they're just like, well, I'm just trying to enjoy my life. Yeah, well, you have to understand that your actions are going to have consequences. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. So if you're a good man, or a good human being, if you don't like that term, again, the term man refers to both man and woman. When you say it in mankind, the aspect of mankind is the species of human being. Homo sapien, would you refer? If you're a Homo sapien, if you're a human being, if you're have a soul and a mind, but don't acknowledge the evil that is being brought in around you. You are in part responsible. You are an enabler for evil. You're an enabler for tyranny by not looking at it, by not standing up against it. Good men need to stop evil. Evil's weak. Evil can be beat real easy. It doesn't take much, you know. One of my favorite songs is the ending song to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the live-action movie, the first one from 1980. And it's like a rap song, T-U-R-T-L-E, power. But at the end of the song, you know, I forget who sings it, but it says, you know, now this is for real, so you fight for justice. Your shell is hard, so you shout, they can't dust us off like some old coffee table. Since you've been born, you've been willing and able to defeat the sneak, protect the weak, fight for rights and your freedom to speak. Now the villain is chilling, so you make a stand. Back to the wall with your sword in your hand. Remember the words of your teacher, your master. Evil moves fast, but good moves faster than light, shining for your illumination. And then it goes on. But you see that evil moves fast, but good moves faster than light. We just have to acknowledge that evil is here and acknowledge that it's trying to enslave us, and we can stop it so easy. We don't even have to raise a fist. We just have to stand together with our minds and information and say, no more, no more. That's as easy as it is. But again, they want to force it to go violent because that's what they want. They want death, they want destruction, they want chaos. We at the Liberty Intelligence Organization Network, we are totally against that. We do not want violence, we want none of that. We want freedom, independence, liberty, and knowledge to empower people to be better human beings, to understand the world better around them, and to ultimately become independent in their physical happiness, in their mental happiness, in their financial, you know, security, and in their physical security. That's the goal of empowerment through knowledge. So that being said, you know, this is just a brief conclusion, really trying to get it out there that propaganda and their manipulation of the human perception of the world is what's allowed them to get this far. They normalize us to something through propaganda, then they bring it about in the real world. Then they usually pass a law that allows them to. They usually do the stuff before they have a law to do it. And again, with the listening devices, they put the listening devices in there. They don't have a law that allows them to do that, but they're recently trying to pass legislation that will say it's okay. Again, it's already illegal. We should already be stopping it. But there's not enough good people standing up. And again, we have to start the awakening. And I really think that in the next 4 years, humanity is going to awaken to this because tyranny is going to be dropped on our laps. And we're going to learn that tyranny doesn't sit in your lap. It lashes out at you very viciously. And we're about to see that, so more and more people are going to wake up, and that's encouraging, and I encourage you to wake up, and I encourage you to look at information. And again, this is all about empowerment of you as an individual, and that's what we're interested here in the Liberty Intelligence Organization Network. Thanks for tuning in to broadcast number 3. This is the conclusion of broadcast 3. I'm going to do a special report later for some viewers. It's going to go over a bunch of information that's really important. Thanks again for tuning in. I want to remind everyone, as always, stay safe, stay strong, stay free, and stay informed.